Welcome to video lesson 11.4 on multiplying and dividing rational expressions. So we're going to do exactly what the title says. We're going to learn how to multiply and divide rational expressions. Now, really, there's nothing that you're going to learn new today. The rules that you use for multiplying and dividing fractions are the same rules that are going to apply when you are multiply and dividing rational expressions. So I'm going to just fix this typo here. Sorry about that. All right, go back to full screen. So here we can see when we're multiplying rational expressions. Okay, now remember these are going to be polynomials that we're multiplying, not just variables. Okay, so A, B, C, and D are all polynomials. All right, and we're just going to multiply the numerators together, and we're going to multiply the denominators together, and then simplify. Okay, again, our denominators can never be 0. Dividing, that's when we multiply by the reciprocal. So essentially what we're going to be doing is we're going to be multiplying the numerator of the first fraction by the denominator of the second, and then simplifying that again. All right? Let's take a look at this in actually doing some examples. So here we're just multiplying. So again, we just have to multiply the numerators and then multiply the denominators. So 5 times 4x cubed times 2x cubed times x plus 1. And we need to simplify that. Okay? So the first thing we need to do is to divide out any common factors. Okay? Now we have 4x to the third and a 2x to the third. So the x to the thirds cancel out, and we can divide 4 by 2, which will give us 2, and 2 by 2, which will give us 1. And so we're going to be left with 5, okay, times 2 on the top, and then x plus 1 on the bottom. Okay, so that will be 10 over x plus 1. All right, and that's in simplest form. Now here we have a little bit more to do. Okay, so we're going to multiply h by this and h plus 2 by h squared. So h times h squared is h to the third, 5h squared, and 6h at the top. And then we would have h to the third plus 2h squared. Okay. Now what we need to do, okay, is again, what we're going to want to do is factor, okay, what we could have done right away is factored out the h squared plus 5h plus 6. Okay. That would have probably been the quickest way to do it, because here we would just divide everything by h again. So kind of go back and do that, sorry. Okay. So rewind a little bit. We'll factor this out first. So we have h, and then when we factor h squared plus 5h plus 6, we need factors of 6 that are going to have a sum of 5. Okay, so that would be 3 and 2. Okay, so we'll have h plus 3 and h plus 2. Because 3 times 2 is 6, and 3 plus 2 is 5. So now we just factored this out here. It's factored right here. Okay, and then we're going to divide by, we have h plus 2 and h squared. Okay. Now what we can do is divide out the common factors. So we have an h plus 2 and h plus 2. We have 2 h's here, so that's going to go down to 1h, and we'll cancel out the h over here. So we're left with h plus 3 over h. So sometimes you might want to just factor right away, because if I would have kept going the route I was going, I would have ended up factoring out the greatest common factor of h, and then factoring h squared plus 5h plus 6 again. Okay. Now we're going to look at which expression is going to be equivalent to 8 over w minus 4 divided by w over w minus 4. So again, when we're dividing, we're actually multiplying by the reciprocal. So this is really 8 over w minus 4 times w minus 4 over w. Okay, And we can write that out as 8w minus 4 over w minus 4 times w. I'm not really going to use the distributive property here because I can already cancel out common factors, which will give me 8 over w. And that is choice A. All right. One more example of finding the quotient. Okay. So, first thing we're going to do, okay, is to rewrite this. Now, if we write p squared minus 4 as a fraction, that's just going to be p squared minus 4 over 1. Then we need to multiply by the reciprocal. So we have p squared minus p minus 6 over p plus 1, because always the first fraction here will stay the same. Then we're multiplying by the reciprocal of the second fraction. Okay. And now when we multiply across, we're going to want to factor out p squared minus p minus 6. So now we need factors of negative 6 that will have a sum of negative 1, which should probably be negative 3 and 2. So we'll have p minus 3 and p plus 2. Double check. Negative 3 times 2 is negative 6, and negative 3 plus 2 is negative 1. So we factored that out. Now, what we will want to do, we have a factor of p plus 1, and we want to factor p squared minus 4. Now, when we factor p squared minus 4, that's following the difference of two squares pattern. So we'll take the square root of p squared, which is p, plus the square root of 4, which is 2, and then also p minus 2. All right, that's following the two squares, factoring the difference of two squares. So now we want to cross out any common factors. Okay, divide out by any common factors, which we have a p plus 2 and a p plus 2. So we're left with p minus 3 over p plus 1 times p minus 2. Okay, and that's in simplest form. All right. Now you have 4 practice problems to work on. 2 multiplication, 2 division. Remember, when we're dividing, we're really multiplying by the reciprocal. Okay? And please make sure you write down any questions that you have. Be sure to ask them during class the next time so that I can answer them for you. And have a great day. Thank you.